couple extra minutes there. I was trying to think of what I wanted to talk about today. So I started flipping through my book. Oops, there goes my pen. Just like meditations and thoughts that I have. And I came to one I wrote last August. And this was in the process of really thinking about, for me, what happened when I left the group, right? So I'd been brought up in this religious group, and I was told that if we leave the group and we don't obey, then, hey, Vasco, hey, Shadow, that, we're out of God's will and God's going to punish us and all of this type of stuff, right? Really scary stuff, especially when you really believe in that. And we were always told this concept of God's highest will, right? Like if you don't obey, if you don't do this and this, and this is God's highest will. And if you're not following what we're telling you to do and we're teaching, you're outside of God's highest will, which meant you're outside of God's protection, right? That was what they were really trying to preach. So at the time when I left, that was kind of a scary concept, because I still really believed it. I just didn't, I couldn't bear the sort of restriction and the control that they had over my life, right? So I was just thinking about that time period in my life. And when I was meditating, I'll read you like what I wrote down about some of that. And yeah, okay. So when I left, I was afraid, but somewhere deep inside, I believed God would stick with me, even if I wasn't in his highest will. But since then, I've learned that is a bullshit concept. The highest will is made up by people to control your choices by telling you what that is. So this concept of God's highest will that we get taught all the time. Believe me, if you're in some kind of religious organization, there's some way in which they're expressing that to you, right? It's made up by people who want to control you. Instead, what I learned is God cannot turn God's face from me, right? That can't happen. God cannot turn away from me. What petty conditional love? Because God is me. I'm a piece of the whole. That is why I must start by giving myself unconditional love. So often we act like a child sitting in the closet, playing hide and seek. I can cover my eyes and turn my face away and say, I am alone, I cannot see you. But as soon as I lower my hands to look, God is right before me, laughing. God's arms encircling me while I play my game in the dark, pretending to be alone. Hey, Clara. I was just reading a little bit from my journal about how I see the relationship with God, and not with a religious God, right? Because, but with that divine force of love and unconditional love. And it brought me to this concept of what is unconditional love, right? And actually that word is totally unnecessary, unconditional, right? Because the concept of love is already encapsulates that. We just don't understand it because we're told something is love that isn't love all the time. Hi, Philippe. We're so often told that, even our parents, they tell us, I love you, but you need to do this, and you need to be a doctor, and you need to do this thing and that thing, and right, they put all these conditions on their approval of us, and then we'll say, well, that's conditional love, or, but that's not actually love. That is an exchange, right? Anytime you put conditions on something, that's a contract, that's an exchange. So when I understood the concept of what's a deal or an exchange, right? They say, okay, I'm going to approve of you if you do this and that. I'll feel proud of you and I'm going to tell you nice things, or I'm going to reward you with a gift or whatever that is if you do that. That has nothing to do with love. That's an exchange. That's perfectly fine to do, right? But the problem is when we mix it up with the concept of love. What is love? When you understand what the exchange is, an exchange always has to do with an agreement, a deal, some kind of, it's not a formal contract, but that's basically what it is, right? Anytime you have to do with that. But what is love? Love is above that. Love is in the realm of the gift, okay? When you truly give somebody a gift, it has nothing to do with, a true gift needs nothing back, right? That's the key. So many times we give gifts that are really exchanges in disguise. We're giving this gift and we want someone to give us a gift on our birthday, or we want someone to think well of us or tell other people nice things about us. Or we're like, well, I'm doing you a favor and, later on, I expect you to come do me one, right? So there's all of these times where gifts are not really gifts, right? And where we say we love somebody, but it's not really love. It's actually, I'm giving you something and I want you to give me something back. Even if the thing you want back is that emotion, right? Or for them to say something to you or whatever that is, that's still an exchange. True love is a gift that needs nothing in return. The gift it's just given from the heart and the love of the giver without demanding or requiring or needing anything back. That's the level of true love, right? That we talk about. So when you understand that, inherent in that meaning is already that it's unconditional. There are no conditions on it, right? If I give someone a gift out of love and I don't want anything back and they don't have to do anything for me to give it to them, it's already unconditional. That's the beautiful thing. So real love, true love is already unconditional. It needs nothing. You see? And we tag on that word unconditional love because all of the love, right, that we experience and all of the times people tell us, I love you, but you need to do this and this and this, right, is people adding conditions onto it. But what those really are is actually exchanges, okay? And we want to be in a situation with our family, with our loved ones, with our spouses, where we do live in a place of creating great exchanges and exchanging value and bringing value to each other. That is a very beautiful thing, right? And we have those agreements and those arrangements and they make our lives better and they are beautiful. But it's when we recognize, okay, I agreed to do this. I'm going to show up to this event for you, whatever that is. I agree to do that. That's part of our exchange. That's part of our deal. It's part of our agreement for how we've created a beautiful, happy life that flows well together and we're meeting each other's needs. You see, that creates something really beautiful. But we also need to recognize that love can be beyond that. Love is beyond that even. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. And of course, God needs nothing from us, right? And that love is just, it's everywhere. It's already inherent. It's inside of us already. Hey, Autumn. Oh, so good to see you, right? I was just reading a passage from my journal, which I think you'll like. So if you watch the beginning of this video, you'll see it. But God needs nothing from us, right? It's already there. That whole concept of unconditional love, right, is it's already there, right? There is no need of any exchange in that sense. See? So that's what I wanted to share today, was something that I learned. And somebody actually asked me that question and it alerted me to that. They were like, why do we say unconditional love? Isn't that an extra word? And I was like, oh my God, you're right. That is, right? Because when you really understand the concept of exchanges as I teach it and the concept of love as the gift that needs nothing back, then you understand already inherent in the word, in the definition, in the meaning of love, is that it's unconditional, right? It's the gift that needs nothing in return. So that's the thought I want to leave you with today, so that you can understand that when you love yourself, it is already unconditional, right? God's love, the love of the universe, the love of source, whatever it is It's already there for you. Ganesh asks, what is unconditional love to you? So that's what I was just talking about, Ganesh. When you're asking, when we understand what are the primary rights, which are some other videos I've taught, and what is defined in the deal, which is a true valid exchange where two people are both bringing value to each other, right? That's a beautiful thing. That's an exchange. That's the foundation for all adult relationships, right? But the concept of love is actually not a contract word or an exchange word, right? And that's where we get mixed up. We think of it as this exchange word or contract word, when in fact, the concept of love is closer to the concept of the gift, a true gift, a gift where the giver is not expecting something back, right? If the giver is expecting something back, that's just an exchange in disguise or a delayed exchange, see? So that's where I put love, right? Love is that sense of whatever it is you want to give, that feeling, that emotion, that, honor, acceptance, gratitude. Everyone should define it, add your words to it to make it even more powerful, right? But words that are not included in that are obligation or exchange, right? These are the words that so often get dumped into that concept for us because of our experiences growing up, our experiences with our parents, our teachers, our loved ones, right? Those get dumped into the meaning of it, but those are actually not part of the meaning of love, right? The meaning that the exchange words are part of a good, healthy relationship exchange, but love is beyond that. And love is the gift. That's the realm that love exists in, right? And so when you give a gift freely and want nothing back, and that person doesn't need anything, doesn't have to do anything to get the gift, right? Then that's already unconditional. That's what it means. There are no conditions tied to it. So that's that, and that's already inherent in when we really understand and define what love is, what love means as the unconditional gift. So I hope you have a beautiful day and show yourself that kind of love. Okay? All right. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.